My name's Michael Cowling, and I had low back surgery, and Dr. Zook did my procedure. He done it this year in 2025, actually back in February. I was in pain pretty much daily. Like, I couldn't stand for long periods of time in one spot. Sitting like this upright and for long period of times I couldn't do, or taking trips in a vehicle, I'd have to stop at least every hour and a half to 2 hours to, get out and stretch. And this has been ongoing probably since I came home from Iraq in 2010. And I just been sucking it up, suffering through it, taking physical therapy and pain meds, and until eventually it just got to the point that I couldn't take it anymore. And so I had injections here, and the first round they did actually worked for quite a while. And then the second round I had done didn't touch it, and that's when we went back to Dr. Zook and started talking about surgery, because I'd done physical therapy, acupuncture, all that, and nothing had helped. Yes, because you always hear the horror story where people have it and it actually has made it worse or whatnot, or made something else worse back there. So because Dr. Zook is also a veteran, so he's a Navy, I'm Army, but just having that background and being a Navy doctor as well, I immediately just wasn't even a second guess. I was like, I'm not even looking for another surgeon. It was like, I'm going with Dr. Zook. I think I had to be here at Grace Hospital like at 6 a.m. or something like that. Might have been 5:30 in the morning. I know it was early in the morning, and then we got here, Grace Hospital, we checked in, my wife and I, and then we sat in the waiting room probably not even 10 minutes, and they called us back into what they call it, the pre-op room, and the nurses came in and spoke to me, and then the anesthesiologist, he came in and spoke to me and told me basically what his part was and what he was going to do. And I believe there was another guy that came in and spoke to me, and his portion was to monitor my nerves and functions and everything while Dr. Zook was in there doing the surgery. And the anesthesiologist explained to me that somebody was gonna give me something to, I guess, kind of calm me before we go into the OR, so I wouldn't see any of the surgical tools or make me unaware. But unless they slipped it to me on the way down the hallway, I remember being wheeled into the OR, and I was like, wow, look at all these like computers and x-ray machines and whatnot. And next thing you know, I was waking up in post-op. Like I thought it was gonna be like the movies when you gotta count back from 10 or whatever, and then they put the thing over your face. I honestly, God, remember being wheeled in, looking at all the x-rays and the monitors and stuff, and then I was waking up in post-op. I mean, after I completely came down off the anesthesiologist, I was in post-op for a couple hours, a few hours or whatever, and had to eat some crackers and whatever, and was released that day, and pretty much went home and relaxed the rest of the day, actually the next few weeks. Once all the swelling and stuff had gone down from the right there at the surgical site, the scar site, then I could actually tell immediately. When I had my follow-up appointment with Dr. Zook, I even told him that it's what 2010, heard it in 2009 in Iraq, and started getting treatment for it through the VA in 2010 when I come home, and I told him that this was the best my back has felt, the left side has felt in 15 years. I referee high school basketball, and I've gone to the state championship, I think it was in 21, had it at NC State, 21 or 20, it was 22, but last year my season ended probably about 2-3 weeks before surgery, because I was just, one, hurting the players, because if I can't hustle, do a good job getting them down field or down the court, I didn't need to be out there. So I knew I was having that surgery coming up in February, so I didn't even do any playoff games or nothing. And since surgery, I've done some summer officiating, but no hard running like I do in my high school games. So season's coming up here pretty soon, so it'll be a big test. But as far as getting around and doing stuff at home, you know, I need to do yard work, and I'd mow, and after sitting on that mower prior to surgery for an hour and a half, it was like, I'm not putting on a backpack sprayer and spraying today, because I'm done. And would go in the house, shower, and I was very limited of the things I could do once it really started giving me a fit. I was driving trash truck for Republic Services and had to take a lesser paying job with the company because I couldn't stand being in that truck bouncing around for 10 to 12 hours a day. Oh, absolutely. I mean, just from the time everything we got to talking about, even considering surgery, Dr. Zook and his nurses explained everything, you know, from A to B, and even sent you home with a lot of literature for you to go home and read and study leading up to that surgery. I mean, everything you needed to do was in your packet, as far as having to go get these labs, and then wanted certain labs as well so far out from the surgery. I mean, they were really great, and made you feel easier and calmer about the surgery. So if you had any second guesses and were always afraid, like me, you know, it was what he said he was going to do, and basically how he was going to basically explain it and broke it down to me in dummy terms. Every time I came here, they asked, what's your pain level? 9 out of 10. It was always a 9. And then after post-op, you know, it's just, I told them every now and again I might have a little cramping right at the surgical scar, but other than that, you know, no pain. So the Kuwaitis have rules that we have to follow. So we would run a lot of missions where we would haul ammo from the base we were at in Kuwait to another base about 2.5 hours down the road, and that ammo got flown over to the soldiers in Afghanistan. So it was one of those missions where it was a hot mission, they needed that ammo, but we also had about 40, 50 mile an hour wind, and then a sandstorm came and we had to tarp it. So I'm on the back of the truck, tarping a load, and big wind gust came, and me and the tarp went off the side of the truck, and I just kind of like turned to try to brace myself, and that's when I felt something kind of pop or not feel right in my back. And all these years through the VA, you know, it was just, you know, bulging disc, physical therapy, and medications. And then they finally, outside community care through the VA, approved me to start, you know, seeing Dr. Zook. And we'd done some physical therapy, and then years went by, and the jobs I was doing was, you know, making it worse. So that's when we started discussing surgery. But yeah, that's how I heard it overseas. I would say if you want the quality of your life and the things you enjoy doing on the daily, like I like being outside, I like riding 4-wheelers, I like hunting, and I couldn't even walk up the hill in my own woods because of my back. So if you're scared about it, just go see a doctor. And I'd recommend Dr. Zook and his team, because they'll break it down to you, like I said, in dummy terms, like your little kid, and explain to you, and it went exactly how they said from start to finish.